2 days, Holy Monday and Holy Tuesday, we've been talking about Catholic traditions for Holy Week. It's Holy Wednesday today. Hindi lang po mga Katoliko ang gumugunita ng Semana Santa, pati po ang ating mga kapatid, evangelical brothers and sisters po natin. They also have their celebration and observance of Holy Week, kasama dito celebration of Easter, of course. Our pastor for Sure Word, nakikita niyo po siya dito sa LA 18 every Friday for Sure Word.
Every Friday, 3:30 to 4.
Ayan, Pastor Joe, hello and welcome back to Kababayan LA.
Thanks for having me, Janelle.
Pastor, so yan, pag-usapan natin ang Holy Week. Paano po ba kayo nagdidiwang ng Holy Week?
Sa evangelicals, we celebrate the Holy Week in the way that makes us really remember the death and resurrection of Jesus. And so we do a lot of theatrical plays, a lot of Bible readings, and pastors do message series about the death and resurrection of Jesus. So there's a lot of celebration also.
What is Holy Week for you? Is it the same as a Holy Week for Catholics?
Personally, for me, Holy Week is more than just a particular time in the year. Personally, it's the kind of life that I live as a believer. It's kind of deep, but realistically speaking, this is what I fervently believe, and this is what I teach. That as a Christian, we must always live the death and the resurrection of Jesus.
But the meaning of the death and resurrection of Jesus is the same with you. It's the salvation.
Yes. When the Bible talks about death and resurrection of Jesus, the death of Jesus was about righteous suffering. Kasi nang namatay si Kristo, He did not die guilty, but He died as an innocent person. He was sinless. And so I have to take that concept into my life.
And how do you do it? Specific examples.
Specific examples: when somebody does you wrong, do not return evil for evil. Yes, do not retaliate, do not exact vengeance, but you have to turn the other cheek. You have to live and really suffer for what you believe in, because sa ating panahon there are beliefs that are persecuted, and believe it or not, the Christian faith is very much persecuted of all places here in the United States.
Oh, really?
Yes,
really?
Because
what is the contention?
The American society is unfortunately becoming more and more modernist and secular. Atheism is on the march, secularism, relativism, and so you can see in Hollywood, you can see even in city laws and in all these laws that are being passed, that there is this silent persecution of the Christian faith. There was a time that the Christian faith was very much accepted here in the United States, but it is commonly observed that the American society, by and large, is becoming more and more secular and becoming more and more modern at the expense of the Christian faith. Yes.
Ayan. So, kukunti na lang po pala tayo mga TV shows na nakakapagsalita openly about Christianity, Catholicism. One of those, of course, Sure Word, every Friday. Pero before we talk about that, later we're going to be talking about that. Yung mga practices you said, sa Catholic tradition, sa simbahan, may mga confession, may mga Stations of the Cross, may washing of the feet, may Easter Vigil. Do you have those as well? I know you have Easter celebration early morning.
Yes,
Sunday,
early morning. We begin sometimes at 5, at 6, but we do not do those Catholic feasts and observances. The evangelical observation is more of reminiscing the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ by listening to messages and sermons about those two events. But there are also churches that do theatrical plays, having all those activities, but the evangelical faith is more doctrinal in their approach.
Meaning more related to the Bible.
Related to the Bible and related to the teachings of the apostles. about the death and resurrection of Jesus.
Right.
The Catholics also have their masses,
Right.
but the evangelicals are more in-depth and thorough in the discussion of the significance of the death and resurrection of Jesus. And what we do is we try to bring the celebration of Christ's death and resurrection from the sentimental aspects
Which is?
of it, which is, these external observances, these events, these activities and programs. They are not bad in themselves, but what we try to do is really live out the actual, or the concept at least, of the death and resurrection of Jesus, like righteous suffering. And then when it comes to resurrection, resurrection is liberty, it's freedom.
Okay.
And so as believers, we try to live our lives free from whatever is negative, force that is bringing people down.
Right. And we're going to have a little bit more discussion with Pastor Joe. Very beautiful explanation. We will return for more. Don't go away.
Ang Kababayan LA ay hatid sa